Yeah.
Most of us don't know what we want to do. We don't know where we want to go, and we don't have any direction. That's most people. See, I was having a conversation with this guy the other time, and I asked him what he did, in life, like what he was doing. I asked him what he said he was studying. I asked him what is he studying, and he told me he was studying to be an accountant. So I asked him why, and he said to be rich. So I laughed at this idea, of course, but then we continued to talk more, and he said he wanted to work in an accounting firm, and that he'd probably get a house and a mutual fund. But that aside, he never mentioned once liking accounting, which I kind of find strange after thinking about it, right? And then I began to think about a lot of things. I started to notice that most people will never realize what their destinies are. Most people will never do the things they're actually meant to do. And I asked why, because we're all created equal, and the only thing that differentiates one man from another is his belief system. So why don't we all end up doing what we want to do? Purpose. That is the thing we're here to talk about today. And not about how you can find it, because that's a whole different ballgame, but to talk about what it means and what it might be defined as, and at least what I've kind of come to see as a definition for myself and a few others. So what is it? What does it mean to you? What do you put on this earth to do? Who are you meant to share your gift with? What is that gift? What were you meant to contribute to this whole human experience? Now that's the question, isn't it? What is purpose? Purpose is fulfillment of destiny. Purpose is that thing that you can feel tugging at you, that you really want to do when you go to work to do a job you hate. The thing that pulls at you when you go to study something at a school that you hate and study a thing that you hate or you think is meaningless. But purpose is also that thing that gives you life and fills you up with the joy and excitement and happiness. That's what purpose is. It fills you up to the point where you feel like you can get up and you can face any challenge. You see that thing, the thing you watched 500 YouTube videos about, and the thing you've read every article about, the thing you obsess over but you have to keep quiet in the back of your mind because you've kind of given up on it. A book that shows this beautifully is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Now, The Alchemist is a book about a boy following his dreams. And it's something that the alchemist says to the boy, which shows how important it is, because without purpose, we're like leaves in the wind and let anything carry us wherever it might take us. Our lives are kind of pointless, right? So the alchemist says to the boy, because wherever your heart is, that's where you find your treasure. Now the boy's destiny is to find his treasure. So with his dream lies his heart and his love. But deeper than that, your heart is the thing that keeps you alive. The treasure is his purpose and why he's going on. Meaning, for me at least, that the purpose is the thing that keeps us alive. That beating heart thing that keeps us moving forward. That's what purpose is. Now, it might be different for different people. Not everyone's going to find it the same way, not everyone's going to see it the same way. Tony Robbins said that the first step to success is knowing what you want. And Stephen Covey once said that you have to begin with an end in mind. So you have to know what your goal is. And I can show you hundreds of different ways to explain one thing, right? But at the end of the day, it might be different for every person. And I know that maybe for me, it might be something else. And maybe for you, it might be something else. But you know what it is. Which means you can't lie to yourself. Because you know when you're not doing it and you know when you are doing it. And I laugh at the idea that many people think that not following your purpose, doing something practical as they dress it up, is a far smarter way to go about it. But my question is, what is practical then? I find that far more impractical because in the long term, you can only lie to yourself for so long before cracking. And at some point, it's going to happen. You're going to crack. Because the lies can only keep up for so long. Now, I'm not saying everyone's purpose is to be Warren Buffett or Arnold Schwarzenegger or to do something crazy in the world. I'm just saying we should be honest. Some people's purpose might be to be the best soccer mom or soccer dad. Some people's best, they might be the best writer. They might be an astronaut. They might be an Olympic runner. It's different for different people. But the thing is, so you know when you're lying. When it feels right, it feels right. And when you lie to yourself and you deny your purpose, I guarantee you that there are few things, few pains that a human being can inflict on themselves emotionally more painful than denial of purpose, because it'll hurt for the rest of your life if you do not do it. And I've seen this with people older than me, like much older, like 50s. I've seen this where they didn't do what they wanted to. They didn't do what they knew was right for them. Or they couldn't because of circumstance, and they never tried later on because they had it sapped out of them. And they never did it, and it haunts them to this day, 20, 30, 40 years later. You will never forget. There's a line in Matrix Reloaded, that Smith says to Neo. He says, there's no denying reason, no escaping purpose. Because as we both know, without it we would not exist. And without it we're nothing. You see, that's how deeply it runs for each individual, what that purpose is. And it's not always easy to go after it. During his journey with the alchemist, the boy says, my heart is a traitor. It does not want me to go on. And he replies, naturally, it is afraid that in pursuing everything, in pursuing your purpose, in pursuing your dreams, that you'll lose everything you've won up to this point. Now that really hit home for me, because I started to think about how much are you really willing to sacrifice for what you want? How much are you really willing to give up? How much of it is important to you? Because at the end of the day, if it's not really what you actually want in the long term, and if in 10 years from now you regret that you didn't do the other thing, then maybe none of it is worth it and it's all superfluous. You see, I view this as purpose being the thing that connects our souls to the world. As esoteric as it might sound. See, purpose is the one thing that tugs at human essence every single day. And I began to realize it doesn't matter who you are, but you ask the same question. It doesn't matter if you're rich, and it doesn't matter if you're poor. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of money. It doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white. It doesn't matter where you come from, what country, what you have and don't have, how you grew up, what you think. The same question at some point in every individual's life. They're going to ask, why are we here? And after that, they're going to ask, why am I here? That's the one question that everybody has in common.
We're here because we're not free. There's no escaping reason, no denying purpose. Because as we both know, without purpose, we would not exist.
It is purpose that created us. Purpose that connects us. Purpose that pulls us, that guides us, that drives us. It is purpose that defines. Purpose that binds us.